It's Thursday the 29th of July and welcome to From the South. Peru has sworn in its new president Pablo Kuczynski for a 5-year term. He was elected in a runoff election in June by a margin of 41,000 votes over Keiko Fujimori, the daughter of the country's jailed former dictator Alberto Fujimori. Thus far, the centre-right politician has named a total of 8 economists to his cabinet and an assortment of sociologists, diplomats and corporate executives, articulating his preference for technocrats over career politicians. Honduras's president Juan Orlando Hernandez is seeking a court ruling which would permit him to another term in office as president. However, the country's former president is planning against this move. teleSur's Gerardo Torres explains.
On Tuesday night, former Honduran President Manuel Zelaya announced over Twitter that an agreement had been made with opposition forces to call for a referendum and ask the people if they want re-election to be allowed in Honduras. This could complicate things for current President Juan Orlando Hernandez and block Zelaya's intention to run again. The request was presented to Congress by a lawmaker in the opposition Libre Party.
We also have a petition for a referendum, because re-election is a right of the people and not the right of only one person. That is why we believe this requires the consultation of the people, to ask them if they agree or not with the re-election.
President Juan Orlando Hernandez has been using his powerful influence in the courts to push for a ruling that would strike down the law that prohibits his re-election. He had hoped that Congress would just approve the ruling and he could continue with his presidential candidacy.
We are looking for a referendum outside of the election season. We want to ask the people directly, do you want presidential re-election or not? If the people, if half of the 6 million voters say no, then Juan Orlando can prepare his bags.
Former Honduran President Manuel Zelaya has assured that if re-election was allowed, he would participate against Hernandez. This had caused some excitement among the opposition. Nevertheless, members of the opposition have supported his backing of the referendum. If the plebiscite is approved in Congress and takes place in normal conditions, it most surely will stop Hernandez's intentions of holding on to power. Gerardo Torres, teleSur, Honduras.
Mexico's Navy on Thursday confiscated nearly 850 kilos of cocaine from 2 small boats in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Guerrero, Mexico's southern coast. Air patrol teams had identified 2 boats, each found to have contained 3 crew members and a total of 751 packets of cocaine, weighing 847 kilos. This was the 3rd naval operation that resulted in a significant seizure in recent weeks. Venezuelans remembered their former president on Thursday. Hugo Chavez, who passed away on March 2nd of 2013, was a charismatic leader known for his revolutionary style from his time in the military, onto and during his presidency. He was responsible for directing Venezuela's oil wealth into social programs that benefited the poor, programs that continue today. His beloved followers even called themselves Chavistas, in honor of their love of his contribution to Venezuela. Across the world, many remember former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez today. On July the 28th, he would have turned 62. The Palestinian people had formed a special bond with the former president, as teleSur's Noor Harazin reports.
Palestinians across the world will be forever grateful to the late Venezuelan president, the hero, Hugo Chavez, whose memory remains engraved in their hearts for his outspoken support of their cause and rights.
Chavez is a hero, an example to the Palestinian people for his thoughts, causes, and his struggle against tyranny, racism, capitalism, and Zionist Western imperialism.
In response to Israel's Operation Castlead on the Gaza Strip in 2008, Chavez cut all diplomatic ties with Israel and expelled the Israeli ambassador to Venezuela, accusing Israel of genocide against Palestinians.
Chavez accused the Israeli occupation leaders of terrorism and he expelled the Israeli ambassador during the Israeli aggression. The Palestinians were looking for similar positions from the world's leaders. I remember one of his famous sayings, Venezuela is Palestine and Palestine is Venezuela.
One of Chavez's famous sayings at the time, which warmed Palestinian hearts, was, If this world had any conscience, the Israeli president would be dragged to an international court and with him the US president. He built close ties with Palestinian leaders, signing various agreements.
The death of the late President Hugo Chavez was a big loss to the Palestinian people. He was an important international figure. He supported the Palestinian people in all forums. The Palestinians were sad to see him go.
One of Chavez's last acts in support of the Palestinian cause was to allow Palestinians to enter Venezuela without visa. The Palestinian people united in grief over the death of their loyal friend. Hugo Chavez is gone, but his support of Palestinians will continue. Ruha Razin, teleSur's TV, Gaza.
أي أننا دعاة سلام.
Democratic White House nominee Hillary Clinton joined President Barack Obama on stage at Wednesday night's Democratic Convention. Obama delivered a 45-minute speech in which he lauded Clinton as the most qualified person he's ever known to be able to handle the post of president. He said that, unlike her Republican counterpart Donald Trump, Clinton has hands-on experience in dealing with international crises. 44 people were killed and some 140 others injured after a bomb blast hit the Kurdish-majority Syrian city of Qamishli. It is described as the worst single attack in Syria since the war began over 5 years ago. According to Kurdish officials, an Islamic State group suicide bomber blew himself up inside a truck. Meanwhile, pro-government forces tighten their grip around the besieged Syrian city of Aleppo, where the local governor says safe corridors have been opened for civilians to escape rebel-held areas. State television quoted the governor as saying that 3 humanitarian corridors would be established, and President Bashar al-Assad offered an amnesty for rebels who surrender within 3 months. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is firmly rejecting calls to reverse her welcoming stance towards refugees following a series of brutal attacks in the country. She said that the assailants wanted to undermine the sense of community, openness and willingness to help people in need. Mourners of Normandy's slain priest laid flowers at the church in northern France in memory of the 86-year-old whose throat was slit by jihadists. Meanwhile, authorities have released the name of the second jihadist involved in the priest's murder, as 19-year-old Abdel Malik Petitjean. Unlike his accomplice Adel Kermish, also 19, Petitjean never raised suspicions for radicalization among his neighbors and was unknown to police until last month when he tried to go to Syria. 2 Somali athletes are preparing to represent their war-torn country in the Olympic Games in Rio next month. Runners Mohamed Daoud Mohamed and Marianne Numous are the only members of their country's Olympic team, but say they are hopeful of bringing back medals. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.